Okay, guys, this is Ernest O'Dell, and I'm going to put together a real quick presentation for you. We've gone over this before in a lot of my webinars and webinar replays and tutorials and workshops, but I thought I would go ahead and put together another real quick tutorial and give you guys some pointers on posting, your ads to Craigslist and using canned responses, and then the wording. Okay, the wording is very important. As I've always said, the whole marketing funnel process starts at the ad level. You will need a Gmail account. So if you don't have one, go to mail.google.com, mail.google.com, and if you don't have an account, it will give you the option to add an account down here at the bottom. If you have accounts and they're listed, you'll see them. If not, click on Add Account, and if you don't have one, then you scroll down below the Login and create an account, and this is where you will then set up an account. So if you don't have one, this is how you can go through and get one set up. Put in your first name, last name, choose a username, create a password, put in your birthday, your gender, mobile or landline, and your current email address as a backup. And to prove that you're not a robot, you will have to use their CAPTCHA and type the text in. Location, United States. If you're in the U.S. or whatever country you're in, okay, and then sign the agreement by clicking, and then go to the next step, and it'll take you through the phone verification process. Okay, now first thing you want to do is create your canned response. Okay, and if you have a template, all right, you can put your template together in a text file, or you can put it together in Word or Open Office Writer or whatever word processor you want, and embed your links, okay, that you want. Now, the wording in the follow-up canned response is very important, but we're going to concentrate first on the actual mail piece itself. Okay, the ad, all right, is what we're going to concentrate first on. All right, so let's get back in here into one of my accounts where I'm telling people to leave the subject line intact, because this right here is what's going to trigger the canned response. When you set up your canned response, you're going to use the same title. Okay, so let's log into my Gmail and see the canned response over here, and you'll find any canned responses that you make over here in the drafts. Okay, so click on drafts, and you see 3 asterisks, many positions to fill, business reps wanted, great careers, and that matches the title over here at Craigslist. So when somebody replies to this ad by using this right here, and they send that reply, it's got to be connected to the same email account that you have registered with Craigslist. So use the same email address that you create or use at Gmail when you're over at Craigslist. If they don't match, If you're logging into Craigslist with a Yahoo or Hotmail or AOL or whatever, then log into your Craigslist account and go through the process to update your account. So go back here to the account and go to your settings, and you can change your email address up here. So if you want to switch it over, they will send you a verification so that they can verify your address. All right, so let's get back to this. So you got to make sure that your Craigslist and your Gmail account are connected, so that when you are putting together your templates over here and your drafts or your canned responses, then they will trigger off of your Gmail in the proper address. If it's not going to the same one, it won't work. Also, if you have one character misspelled or out of place, then this canned response won't trigger properly, and you'll have to answer it manually. Okay. Make sure that you have your labs turned on up here in the settings. If you don't have canned responses turned on, come up here to this little gear, turn on settings, click on settings, go over here to the settings, go to labs, and then drill down for canned responses by Chad P and enable it. Okay. If you're also using Google Voice, you can set up Google Voice as your voicemail. We can show you how to use voicemail response also in your marketing system. But for today, for right now, we're just going to go through the canned response. So let's go back and take a look at canned response. You go through the compose, okay? And since I'm here on CSR, let's take a look at CSR sales inbound jobs, okay? I don't have a canned response for this. So let's copy the title, all right? Just copy. And now we're going to go to the subject line. You don't put anything up here in the recipients. We're going to put in the same without spaces on the end. Sometimes it'll copy the spaces down here and you won't see it. Make sure there's no extra spaces, no extra characters, and it reads the same way as your title up here on Craigslist. So now we have CSR sales inbound jobs, and then here we're going to put our canned response. Here I have a doc file put together which is about 5 pages long. It's a little lengthy, yeah, okay, but I'm going to take and copy all of that, Control C, Control A to select all, Control C to copy, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to paste it in. All right, now you see it's all pasted. All right, and when I'm going to change out the template here and put my name in there, and I'm going to take the bolding emphasis off so it doesn't look garish. Okay, now when they reply to this ad, all right, I can set this to phone only, or I can go back and edit that and set it to reply. So let's go back to my account and make sure you get everything set up right. CSR, we're going to edit, okay, and we're going to edit the text, and we're going to go back to CL Craigslist mail reply, uncheck this and leave the phone out in the name, because the call to action is in here, and we're going to tell them to get more info, reply to this ad, leave subject line intact, or call Mr. O'Dell. And we just edited that. Now we're going to save it, continue, and check the spelling and make sure everything is working okay. To get more info, reply to this ad, leave subject line intact, and it will trigger. Now we're going to say publish. So it's been renewed, and we're just going to republish, and there it is, it's live. Okay, so now we can close this and leave this open, because we're just going to use this for text. I'm going to go ahead and refresh and see now the new text is in there. So when somebody lands on this ad over in Craigslist, this is what they're going to see. Okay, now we've got the reply. When they hit this, they can do one of two things. They can either reply to this ad, leave the subject line intact, and it'll shoot them back an automatic canned response, or they can pick up the phone and call me, either way. Okay, so it works kind of a dual purpose. You'll type out your reply. You'll take, this right here is going to show my link, okay, in the reply coming from my email address, so it won't get trapped by any filters. If you want to put a link into your canned response, highlight the text. You can bold it for emphasis if you like. Go to the formatting options here, turn on the formatting options toolbar, and we're going to select text color red, and come back here and do a highlight yellow, and see now it's yellow and red text with yellow highlight. Now we're going to go back here and we're going to highlight that again, and we're going to come down here to the embed insert link, and we're going to put the link to our affiliate site right here, and we'll say instant rewards net. Got to spell it right. It's rewardsnetwork.com/ mine is DMS Group, so you would put yours in there, okay? Or if you're sending it over to Instant Money Network or IMN1 or wherever you're sending it, okay, wherever you want to send them, make sure it's worded properly. And then I will make these templates available to you if you need them, okay? Because this is rather lengthy, okay? The reply is going to probably give them too much information, but this will save you from having to repeat yourself over and over, okay? The key here is you do want them to click on that link and go over to your landing page and watch the video if you have one, okay? And give them, enough information that they can make an informed decision. Now, let's take out some of the extra space, all right? We'll make sure that we don't have too much space in there. Okay. Take a look at that. Once you see that it's okay and all right, I'm not going to go through this word for word. Okay, we'll cover this in just a few minutes. All right, now going to say more options, canned responses, and we're going to slide down here to save section, and we're going to click on new canned response, and it's automatically going to put the title from your subject line into this canned response. Click yes, and then we're just going to close it because it's already saved. Now I've got, instead of 47 drafts, I've got 48, and you see here it is right here. That's a canned response. It's called a draft. Now we're going to go back to the settings, and we're going to go to filters. We've already turned on our labs. We've already turned on canned responses in the labs. Now we're going to create a new filter. Okay. Subject line is, of course, going to be this right here. So we're going to make sure we got that copied right. We're going to come back and put it into the subject and make sure there's no extra spaces there. And now we don't have to do anything else here but click create filter with this search. Now we're going to come over here and click one more box. Send canned response, drop this down, scroll down to the new canned response, CSR sales, inbound jobs, and it's going to match two conversations. We're going to click that, and then that's it. Nothing else up here. And we're going to create the filter, and it says your filter was created, and scroll down to the bottom, and there it is. Voila, it is now ready to work automatically for you while you are sleeping. Okay, and we can now log out of Gmail. So when somebody answers this ad and they reply to this right here, and they say, I would like to know more about this, and they leave that subject line intact, you know, it's going to trigger the canned response. Now there's one more thing you could do, okay? You could edit the ad. We can go back over here and manage this post and just go back in and say, all right, edit this posting and say something like, okay, to get more info, reply to this ad, leave subject line intact, and check your inbox for confirmation or call, and then I'll leave that, and we'll say continue, as long as you don't change the subject line, okay? And now it says to get more info, reply to this ad, leave subject line intact, and check your inbox for confirmation or call me. Okay, now we're going to publish. And now we'll go back and take a look at the live ad and refresh. And there it is. So now this is ready to go to work. It is working now. So anybody that answers this ad, it's going to trigger that automatic response from Gmail. So let's go ahead and shut this. And let's log out of Craigslist because now this is done. So that takes, 5, 10, 15 minutes, depending on how good you get, you know, and how fast you are with it. All right, let me go ahead and close out this. I don't need this running right now. Okay. And let's say they call you up, okay? Then what you're going to do is you're going to follow a script when you call them up, and I'll provide all this, you know, when you get them on the phone. All right, you can use the canned response template, kind of, as a template, or you can use something like an inbound call answering script. I got a real short script here, okay? It's one page. I look at the whole thing, I can print it off, and it's just one page. It's 8.5 by 11. It looks like a 8.5 by 14 on this, but it's not. And I just go through this, kind of line for line, and I say, thank you for calling. This is Ernest O'Dell speaking. How can I help you? And they're going to say, I'm calling about your ad. And you can say, okay, we're real busy right now, but do you have a pen and paper handy? And you go through this, and you just kind of go through the process of qualifying them. Yes, great. What's your name, please? My name is such and such. Where are you calling from? I'm calling from Houston. What's a good contact number for you? My number is blah, blah, blah. They give you their number. Now, here's what I do, okay? When they're giving me this information, I have my lead capture page up, okay? And I'm putting their information into a non-video lead capture page. So when I'm going through this process, I've got it printed out, and I've got it sitting over here next to my computer on the desk, and I just kind of use it as a guide. I don't read from it. I put their first name here, last name. As I'm asking for this information, I'm plugging it in. I can work this one of two ways, okay? Then I say, do you have an email address? And they say, yeah, and I give you their email. Then I can say, okay, we're providing informational webinars today. Do you have access to the internet right now? Do you have your own connection to the internet and home computer? That's, either a yes or no. At that point, when you send them the information, you can either send them a copy of the canned response, or you can, send them the information from your autoresponder and tell them to check their email. Okay, it'll work, kind of either way. Then you can tell them, if you want to send them to your web address, you can give them the web address, and you can also put this into a real short voicemail. Go to instantrewardsnetwork.com / and then your affiliate ID. Mine would be DMS Group. You might want to spell it out too. Give it to them over the phone, or plug their info into your lead capture page, and then let the autoresponder mail it to them, okay? Now, you can turn up your speakers if you want to. After you plug in their information, this is going to bridge over to the video, and you can tell them, can you hear the video? And they say, yeah. Then you say, great. Now, check your email for the information I just sent you, and after you finish the webinar, start registration, then call us back for your orientation. And what they're going to do is they're going to see the same video that you're watching, and then you can go in there and you can close that video, close it off, and then open up another page for your next call. So, when you get them on the phone and you hear the video playing in the background, unless they're using headphones, you can't hear it. Then, they can go through the orientation. Once they go through the webinar or the orientation, and they do their completions, have them call you back. Then you can start training them how to start marketing. And tell them, thank you, have a nice day. It's basically about a 5-minute call. Okay? If they don't have internet access at that time, then tell them, call us back once you do. If they try to be forceful and bust your chops and ask you more questions, just tell them, that'll be discussed in detail during the webinar. Okay. That's why we have the videos and the webinars and the orientation videos put together, so you don't have to wear yourself out and wear your voice out 100 times a day. Because when you start getting calls in on these ads, okay, for like Craigslist, when you start getting these calls in, or if you're working with a co-op or something and they're providing calls for you, you're going to be busy. You're going to get busy, okay? You're not going to have time to give all this information. That's why we have the evergreen videos put together for you, so it doesn't wear you out. And it's all plugged into your system. It's all automatic. And when they watch the orientation and they click on the registration process, they're already in your loop. Make sure they get to your lead capture page. Do not send them directly over to the offer site and bypass the marketing system. If you send them directly over to the offer site, you would have to send them both links to whatever combo you want to run, either the starter or the 80 or the 60 or the gold or whatever you're doing. But if you send them over to your lead capture page, then it puts them into your autoresponder and your funnel, and it follows up with them. Over here, you have no way of following up with them. You have to manually follow up with them. So send them to the front door. Don't send them in the back door. The front door will get them through the offer system. Okay, sign them up properly. Make sure they go through the process and do their offers, and then you'll start the orientation with them. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you find it helpful. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me or inbox me on Facebook, and I'll put together another tutorial for you. And we will be following up with another tutorial later today. Thank you. Bye-bye.